It turns out there might be a relatively easy way of getting your expertise up and getting some Umbral Shards. However, I think once that this knowledge becomes public, like from this video or anybody else finding out, that the prices of these things are absolutely going to skyrocket and it's not actually going to be a feasible way of most people doing it. However, let me explain what I'm talking about. So essentially you might know that crafting a gear score 600 item, if your expertise in that slot is less than 600, then you get an expertise bump, but if your expertise is 600 in that slot, then you get Umbral Shards. Well, one thing that I don't know if it was an omission, but one thing I literally had thought about a couple of days and I thought I'll test straight away is the void bent armor, because that's obviously guaranteed gear score 600 and it's not been that hard to afford because the void ores come down. They've also decreased the amount of motes needed for the energy cores and stuff like that, so it's actually not that expensive. And lo and behold, I tried it today with just some medium boots just because it was like relatively cheap materials and it gave me the expertise bump, and yeah, presumably it will give me the Umbral Shards as well now that I'm actually expertise 600. So that's just one thing. I just want to get that out, get that news to you as quickly as possible. Now I have a bit of a problem with that in a sense because it sort of feels like the very rich companies literally might be able to just buy their way to like higher gear score straight off. Now eventually that'll calm down once they get their expedition mutators up to the next levels and they're actually getting more keys like that, and it becomes more, well, essentially it doesn't become cost effective to buy the void bent, but I suspect void bent is going to come down in price, the actual armor, but the void ore and the void ingots, they are likely to go up, I would presume, because of this. Now that might not be the case because the expedition mutators might just give you so much Umbral Shards that it's actually not worth getting this like a little bit of advantage, but I suspect that the bigger companies will jump on this, seize the opportunity, as Eminem might say, and get the gear score up as quickly as possible. I've got to presume that this would also work with the patterns that guarantee 600 gear score, but I don't have one to try that out. But yeah, it looks like this is going to be, at least in the short term, not a very effective way of getting your gear score expertise up and your Umbral Shards and stuff like that, but it is a possibility and I think it's one that you should be aware of as soon as possible. If void ore on your server is going for very cheap, then it's probably worth picking that up and at least crafting a few if you are an armorer yourself and you've got the 200 in that category. So let me know your thoughts on this little finding. Have a most beautiful day, like and subscribe. Goodbye.